DeMeo joins us. James, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
McGraw, thank you for the opportunity. Pleasure to have the conversation.
You live now in North Carolina, but you grew up on Long Island, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you played basketball against Barry, my cousin, is that right?
Yeah, we grew up together in Port Washington and played in the Fritz Mueller tournament over in Manhasset, as I'm sure you can recall.
Wait a minute, hold on. When did you graduate high school?
1983.
Oh, you played against me in that tournament. I played in that tournament. We schooled you, I believe. We schooled Schreiber in that game, if I do recall.
Your memory is correct, sir.
Well,
great to catch up with you.
Unfortunately, you had to deal with the other side of the family. Those Millhavens. We were much nicer on the Manhasset side. James, you've gone on to become a police officer, and you have written a book about security. Talk about that for a moment.
Sure, absolutely. It's entitled "What's Your Plan?" It's a step-by-step guide to keep your family safe during emergency situations. And as the country's taking a look at now in obviously the North Carolina area, I'm based here in Raleigh. We're anticipating obviously a massive storm over the next couple days to weeks. So certainly, having your family prepared for different types of emergency situations. And again, I wrote the book with the mindset, McGraw, not to create fear, but to empower people on knowing what to do during times of crisis.
So you've probably seen people who were not prepared when a crisis comes. What type of crisis are you talking about?
Well, again, I broke the book down into, it's very easy to read, it's tangible, it's user-friendly. It's not your typical security practitioner's guide. It's more for, moms and dads and families. For instance, you're at a ballpark or maybe your place of worship, or you're going to shopping at the mall or what have you. But a series, a checklist of things to go over to have that conversation with your loved ones, before you go to those different places. It's broken into 8 chapters. And again, it's just something that you can use time and time again to kind of create that situational awareness mindset for you and your family.
What should everybody have in their home? Let's start with your home. What should everybody have in your home just in case something terrible happens?
Well, again, depending, as we're, potentially seeing here, in the Carolinas, having water and food supplies and coordinating with your neighbors, making sure everybody's on the same page, utilizing your governmental resources, but, just making sure that you're way out in front of any potential challenge that you may, be confronted with. And again, I always talk about, McGraw, just, operating from a position of strength by having that pre-planned conversation, that response way ahead of the curve on knowing what to do during times of crisis.
So when you take your family to a ball game, football game, baseball game, are you constantly looking where the exits are just in case something terrible happens?
Again, I talk about situational, awareness, but certainly knowing how to get in, how to get out. We've seen, obviously, with the Ariana Grande concert, if there's any type of stampede, or a fear situation, if people that are entrusted with that duty, care, responsibility, the ticket takers, security, law enforcement that work at these stadiums, venues, and arenas, if they're not properly trained to lead people to safety during times of crisis, it presents challenges. But I also look upon the fans to be educated. An educated fan is a safe fan, so they look at codes of conduct. Again, as I mentioned earlier, they look at how to get in, how to get out, where their vehicle is parked, utilizing social media before the event, during the event, after the event, especially when we talk about these confined spaces, these densely populated areas with a lot of people. We've seen that obviously post-Las Vegas when we're looking at different music festivals, entertainment and tourism, exterior perimeters. We want to make sure that everyone that's in that space knows what to do during times of crisis.
It's almost though if you're in a concert or you're in that Vegas situation, and God forbid you find yourself in that situation, are you really going to think, oh my goodness, they're shooting, what should I mean, it's more or less of a panic, right? You just sort of run in the opposite direction of where the bullets are going.
We looked at the Boston Marathon bomber, and we thought that was a real game changer in terms of, mega events. But now we obviously had an aerial assault, which was really unprecedented. 32 floors up into a confined space. We had a shooter that wasn't really on anyone's radar screen. So it presents a lot of challenges. Certainly Jason Aldean was up on the stage. Right. His initial reaction, he thought it was something to do with the speaker system. We looked at the the situation in Paris. Obviously in Europe, they celebrate victories with fireworks. A lot of people thought in the crowd it was a fireworks situation. So in a sense, we really don't want to think that the worst case scenario is happening, but because of the ongoing challenges, McGraw, we're seeing in all types of verticals. And again, that could be sports and entertainment, that could be, school and higher education, just becoming more aware of knowing what to do places us in a position of strength during these times of crisis.
James, how do people get the book? What's your plan?
Oh, absolutely, McGraw. Thanks for the opportunity. Again, James DeMeo. I'm based here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's What's Your Plan? Again, it's a step-by-step guide to keep your family safe during emergency situations. We are on Amazon. Certainly, if you don't mind, I'd like to share my website. It's SMEeventsecurity.com. But I'd love the opportunity to, again, someday meet you in person. It's been a while since we've crossed paths on the basketball court, but you certainly have a good memory. It was a great tournament, and I'm honored to have the conversation with you and your audience in your area. But again, thank you so much for letting me share some of my insight on this most important topic.
The website, one more time, James?
Yes, sir. It's SMEeventsecurity.com.
And it's on Amazon. The book is called What's Your Plan?
Why don't you tell people how great of a basketball player I really was?
I was just going to ask that, James. Was he any good?
If I remember correctly, you actually shot from the left side or a lefty?
I was a lefty, yeah.
I do remember. No, actually, McGraw, all kidding aside, was a very good athlete in high school, comes from a family of very good athletes, and obviously an absolute gentleman. I mean, just a great job he's doing in the St. Louis area. Certainly, just great to have the conversation. We're hunkering down here in Raleigh, hoping for the best, and certainly we really appreciate the opportunity to have this discussion. Just moving forward, I'd like to let the fans know, please don't be afraid. Just, be prepared in advance, know exactly what you're going to do, share that information with your family. And again, that places you in the best position possible to survive the unthinkable.
If all of our guests were this respectful of me, the world would be a better place. That is for sure. Hey, James, be safe. Thanks for checking in, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you, McGraw.
You got it.
Now.